Hi and welcome again. This is Latif Isa with you again. We are going to take another question of the Nebosh General Certificate questions that are regularly coming today. In these exams. So this question will be about first aid and first aid facilities. You have to be very careful when reading the question because for each question there are different answers. So the first question, this question normally would come with two parts. The first part you will get 2 marks and the second part you will get 8 marks and sometimes 6, depends on the examiner how many points they want you to outline. So the question could read, what are the main purpose of a first aid or the main purpose of the first aider? To make it simple, there are 2 main objectives of the first aider, and you can say the purpose of the first aider is to control the life that ending situations. So the first point would be to control the life ending situation, and the second part will be to prevent further injury. So we said to control the life ending situation, and the second point would be to prevent further injury. What do we mean by that? For example, if you go to see someone that is being electrocuted, he is being hit by electricity shock. So to control the life-threatening for this person and other person is to stop the threat, is to switch the power off. That's the first thing you would do. Then to stop it from getting further damage means you will going to give the basic first aid for this person depending on your experience, and his and her requirement is the CPR or if they are in consciously prone position. So not to go in details, just make your answer simple. Think of these 2 points. What is your aim when you see any life-threatening situation as a first aider? Is to control the threat, not to make it spread. And the second point is not to make further damage, means to prevent further injuries. The second part of the question would be to ask you the consideration for a first aid facilities. Remember here now, they are not asking you about how to treat or how to be a certified first aider. It is talking about the facilities that a first aider would require at the site. So for instance, your manager will tell you as an HSC specialist, I would like you to list for me your wish list to make an office or a small clinic at the site for first aid. So they will say to you to list these items normally. Your first one would be, think always about hygiene when it's to do with first aid. This is hygiene. And think of cross-contamination, because most of the cases will have wounds, will have cuts, and the bacteria and the infection could spread very fast. Also, the poor person that is injured could contaminate because of their open wound infection from other people in the same place. So therefore, think first of the hygiene, how to control the hygiene in the area. So you would need a sink with running hot and cold water in the sink. Also, you would need a soap and a disposable paper towel or disposable towel, meaning you will not use the towel again. Then think of, you want to get rid of this towel after you wipe your hand and clean your hand, and after wiping the wounds of the person. So you need a foot-operated disposal container, meaning the waste bin we call it, or disposed container, which has to be foot-operated. So if person to do foot, it would open. And this container should not be any container, because later think of the cleaner, the person that will be transporting this contaminated stuff to the final destination. You have a requirement here. It should be lined with a yellow plastic bag. These yellow plastic bags are designed for medical waste. So we said a foot-operated container lined with the yellow plastic medical waste bag. We'll not go in details. The disposal, that is a total different question. Then always, whenever someone is hurt or injured, they will be suffering from shock and they will be dehydrated because there is always a sweating involved or bleeding. So you would need a fresh drinking water and disposable cups also in the facility. Then you would need a chair for someone to sit, yourself or the patient or the waiting person. So you need at least one chair there. Then you need an examination couch with the waterproof covers. So if there is bleeding, if there is any kind of human waste coming out during the examination, it will not be absorbed on the bed. The top sheet should be waterproofed. Then you would need a communication means. Remember that when you are there, you might need a doctor, you might need an ambulance. You cannot leave the patient alone. So you have to have a communication means, which is a mobile telephone or a landline telephone or a radio if you are in a remote area where these facilities are not available. You need a communication mean. Then you need a record book because incidents and accidents need to be recorded. The medicine you prescribed need to be recorded. There will be a control of medication that is being given there. Also, you would need a store for all the first aid materials and equipment. Then the place is to be attended by a first aider or a person that is appointed. The last one is you are a first aider, which could be inexperienced or a new first aider or just been appointed there without proper training. So you cannot do what a doctor do or what a professional experienced person do. So do not try or attempt to do things you are not trained or have no information about. If, for example, someone is hit in an accident, if you move them, you could make the situation worse. You could complicate it. So your aim as a first aider, we said, two things: to control the life-threatening situation, to control the life-endangering situation, and to prevent further injury. If you face something beyond that, you're going to call the help of specialist people, which is the ambulance or the hospital or the emergency number that your company make. Then we'll go for the second question quickly, just so it will stick in our mind to answer them, because the first part I give explanation. Now I'm just giving you the list. Remember, the question will ask you to talk about the facilities required for first aid. So there will be a sink with hot and cold running water, a soap and disposable towel, and a waste disposable container that is foot operated, lined with the yellow polythene plastic bag. Then there is examination couch with a waterproof covering and a pillow, clean pillow, a chair, a communication means, which is a line or telephone or walkie-talkie, and you need a record book to record all incidents that you have treated and they have come to see you for any kind of a treatment, and you would need a store for the medication, and lastly, the place or the clinic should be manned by a trained first aider or appointed person. I hope this is beneficial, and thank you very much again for watching.